Hello friends and welcome to Art with Miss Dom. That's me. Today we're going to make a little puppet out of a paper bag. So in your supplies you should have gotten a paper bag, and that's why. So get out your bag. You will also need this paper that says I can learn lines. Let's practice cutting. So we've already drawn lines. This time we're going to cut them out. We're going to learn how to use scissors. So you will need a pair of scissors. You'll also need some markers or crayons or something to add some color and detail with, and some glue. I have glue in a bottle. That's what I'm going to be talking about, but if you have a glue stick, that's okay too. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is talk a little bit about using scissors, and then we're going to cut on the lines in this page in the workbook. So you'll notice that I ripped my page out. You can rip your page out from the workbook. If you need to gather those materials, go ahead and pause the video. Or you can just watch the whole video and then go back and do the project and play it again. It's up to you. So, scissors. When we use scissors, you have to hold them a certain way. You'll notice there's two holes. There's a small hole and there's a larger hole. The small hole is for your thumb. So I'm going to stick my thumb in the small hole. The larger hole is for these two fingers. So a lot of times people will tell me, I can't use these scissors, they're too small. It's because they're trying to stick all their fingers in that hole. You don't need all the fingers, just the first two fingers is enough. And that's how you hold the scissor, okay? The other thing that's important when you're using scissors is that you point them away from your body and make sure you're not pointing them towards anybody else. So I'm in a video, so it looks like I'm pointing them at you, but I'm really pointing them at the screen, so it's okay. So you want to point them away from yourself and away from other people. For safety, you need to stay in your chair. If you're walking around holding scissors, you hold them like this. You just cover up the blades. That's the safest way. Okay, so if you bump into somebody, nobody's getting hurt. Okay, but for cutting, thumb in the small hole, two fingers in the large hole, and then you just open and close, and that's how you cut. Okay, now, when you cut, one mistake a lot of people make is that as they cut, they're moving their wrist all around, which works sometimes when you're cutting. Like this first wavy line, you could probably do that. But for most things, that can be a problem, especially when you don't want to point it toward you, because as you go around, your blades go in different directions. So what you really want to do, the best way to cut, is to use the hand that's holding the paper as your steering hand, like you're holding a steering wheel. So this hand is doing all the moving and moving things around. Now the first line is pretty easy. It's just a straight line. So all we do is open up the scissors all the way up and close. And then open them all the way up and close. And so we're just moving across that line, opening and closing. And there you go. Got my first cut. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to open and close, and notice how the hand that's holding the scissors is going to do all the moving, and the hand that's cutting is just opening and closing. That's its job, just doing this. It's not going back and forth. This hand is the hand that's going back and forth. All right, so now for the zigzag, I'm going to turn that paper and cut. Turn that paper. Okay, every time I get to a corner, I'm I'm turning my paper. So I'm cutting, turning, cutting, turning. Okay, this hand is holding the paper, is doing the motion. This hand is just opening and closing. So I'm going to do that all the way across. And now I've done my zigzag. I'm going to do that again for the scallop. Curve, turn. Okay, so slow turn, faster. Slow turn, opening and closing and cutting. Hold it, and fast turn. No opening and closing. Opening and closing for my slow turn, and then fast turn. All right, so that was my scallops. The next one is called tassels. So you're going across, making that turn up, making that turn across. Okay, notice I'm turning that paper upside down to go down, cross, up, cross, down, across. I have to look and see what I'm doing here. Up, across, down. All right, now the most challenging cut is called sharks. Let's see if we can do it. Cut, turn, and curve. Big turn and curve. Big turn. All right, so this hand that's holding the paper is doing a lot of moving around. Right, I'm gonna move out of the way here and try and let you see what I'm doing, okay? So curve, turn it around, curve, turn it around, curve. It's a little hard to do in front of the mirror here. And I want to be careful not to cut my fingers. I have to pay attention to the hand that's holding and not get too close to those scissors. Close enough to be able to control that paper though. So pay attention to where your fingers are. Make sure they aren't right in front of the blade. Okay. And I've cut this one out. And if yours isn't perfect, that's okay. That one was a little tricky. All right, so I have all of these parts that I've cut out. And the next thing I need to do is make my puppet. So I am going to stop for now and let you finish cutting. If you didn't finish with me, I know I did that sort of quickly. And then when you're ready, you're going to watch the next video where we use some of those parts that we cut out and we create this little puppet. Now your puppet isn't necessarily going to look like this one. So this is just one that I made, and I'm going to do another one and it's going to look different, and yours is going to look different too. But we're going to practice using glue. So finish your cutting and be ready for part 2 to make your puppet.